Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. Today is Fake or Real Thursday, with the craziest stories that just can't be real. Entitled X ghosted my friend, then demands a room in our house. Today's story comes from the BestofRedditorUpdates subreddit, posted by InRealHun. This isn't my ex, but my best friend's ex. She and I have been friends for years and live together now. We live with my parents, who adore her like their own daughter. I got her permission to post this. My friend, 30 female, came to the US from Latin America at 19 as a student. She also started dating her ex, 29 male, after many years of hanging out with each other, both during vacations and online. I knew them both since high school and they seemed like they were good together. She had tried convincing him to move in together a few years before their breakup. He was living with his parents who wanted him to leave. At this point, she had already finished college and had a job in the US that granted her a visa. He'd quit college and worked part-time. From what I can gather, he didn't want to leave his parents' place because free food and no rent. So instead, she asked if I wanted to move in with her so we could afford a bigger place. I said yes and we moved in together, adopted a cat and a dog, and pretty much became Grace and Frankie. Around the start of the pandemic, things got bad for them. This is what I was told and what I saw. They never talked or hung out or anything. I was in a breakup at that time myself, so I wasn't really on top of it since I had my own issues, but my friend cried a lot. She didn't even get a happy birthday. After a year of no contact, she assumed the relationship was over. She changed all of her social media to single, which he could see, took him off her emergency contacts at work and her doctors, and just moved on with her life. This year, my stepdad's health has gone downhill, and my mum needs help caring for him. She works full-time as a therapist. I work from home, and my job is very flexible. So, I put in the idea of us all living together, and I'll care for my dad. Eventually, I'll care for mum too. My mum loved the idea, and asked my bestie if she wanted to move in with us too, so we could all be together. And also, because at this point, I can't see myself not being in the same house as her. We've come to terms with being single ladies. Heck, we've joked that one of us should adopt so that we can become a parent/aunt dynamic. And now, the joke is more serious, since I'm actually considering it, and she's incredibly supportive. No, we're not dating. She's straight and I'm bi. We're just incredibly close after all the BS we've lived through together. We found a perfect house. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. Enough space, a yard, and everything we need. We got it after a bunch of difficulties and arrangements. Since I don't have immediate plans for adopting yet, I have a ton of paperwork and years of planning ahead. We made the extra room into our office/gaming hub. We both work at the same place. Totally not on purpose. They were hiring and we both needed visas. As proud first-time homeowners, we posted the pictures. Her ex, who by this point has been MIA for 3 years, messaged her saying he was so excited to move into the new house. Wait, what? She should respond with, "Who dis?" She told him that this was her house with me and my parents. He said that since they were a couple, she should kick me out and my parents so he could move in. Is this guy for real? I want to point out that my parents bought the house. We, my friend and I, will pay them our parts over the years. And if she decides to move out, I'll finish paying and buy out her part. This is all on paper and signed. So she obviously told him he wasn't moving in with us and that he ghosted her, so there was no relationship. He went on a tirade that he never broke up with her, that she was abandoning him, and that she never cared about him, etc. Is this why he ghosted? In case one of his exes hit it big, and then he can come crawling back with a, "Technically, I didn't break up with you." I got pissed off and took the phone from her, and told him he could live in a bear cave for all I care, but to leave my friend and our house alone. He went ballistic, and began calling us all sorts of names, referring to the LGBTQ+ community, names that would probably get this post flagged, so I'll leave it to your imagination. Ugh, he sounds delightful. My friend started crying, and I was absolutely done with him. I never thought he was abusive, but my friend confessed to me that this was not new. He's always had issues with the two of us living together and often accused her of cheating on him with me. We ended the call and I told her she needed to block him for her own sanity's sake. She deserves so much better than this man-child. She got me to leave my abusive ex when I was in high school. She took me to the hospital when he beat me up and called my parents. My friend is my family, and I'll be dead before I let some bastard with commitment issues make her suffer. Since then, he's gone on a major campaign in our friend group to say that my friend abandoned him and left him homeless, since apparently he cancelled his lease after he saw that we bought a house. The audacity! Why would he just assume he gets to move in after zero contact for 3 years? He also claims that we're lesbian Satanists and probably abuse our pets and are mooching off my parents. Okay, so if you're mooching off your parents, why would he expect to move in? Did he also date and ghost your mum at some point? Most of my friends know the story, and they know that my friend and I moved in together, first out of necessity, and then just because we don't see ourselves not living together. So yeah, my friend's ex is a nutcase, and if he ever gets close to her again, I will personally give him a free vasectomy. Update. Some people asked if our friends knew where the ex was hiding for 3 years, and I was actually curious. Since I was down for the count at work today, I had some time to check with my friends and find out. Apparently, my bestie did ask them, but they didn't know. From what they tell me, he kind of got back into everyone's life in the last year or so. But he was only part of the group because they were my bestie's friends, not really his. I personally don't know many of his own friends, to be fair. I did track down the ex's sister, thanks to social media, and poked her for information. She's very nice and always treated my bestie right. I told her what her brother did, and her response was very interesting. Apparently, the ex was dating other girls until his parents decided to move outside the US. Does that count as cheating since they technically never broke up? He's now living on a friend's couch, so he didn't actually cancel a lease, he never had a lease. The last she heard was a couple days ago when they went out for coffee. He was saying that he got this brand new house and was going to be moving in this week. Such a Lululemon! As far as she knew, my bestie begged him to take her back and let her live in his house. I corrected her and said no, bestie is living with me and my parents in our new house. Her reaction was, of course he lied, and just thanked me for letting her know that he was BSing. Aside from that, I do want to report that we are safe. He doesn't know where we live, and most people don't because we're not really ready to open Pandora's box and have friends come over. We also need time to figure out who we want in the know. We won't be going to the police unless something serious happens because this technically isn't a crime. But we are going to be keeping records and printing text conversations. If he tries anything, we'll have all our papers in order. And just in case, I plan to contact our company's HR so they know the situation. The company we work for can provide us with free legal counsel if things get bad. Update 2. Well, it seems like I'm stuck in a saga now. Once again, I have full permission from my friend to share this. As my first post said, my friend's ex ghosted her and then tried to move in with her, and by extension me, after years of no contact. My friend told him where he can go. For a bit, it was actually pretty calm. She cut contact and blocked him as May suggested, and between the two of us, my bestie and I did some culling of our friend group. People we knew were passing on information to her ex. We've settled in the new house together, and she actually gets along better with my parents than I do sometimes. Guess she's the golden child now. Sadly, eventually we had to adult and get some much needed food. We went to Walmart in town together, and by some bad luck, we crossed paths with her ex. I wish it was just some awkward glances and each on their own way, but no. At first, he tried to talk to her. My friend said she didn't want to speak to him and didn't want him near her. I mostly reminded him that I wanted to rip out his spine and beat him to death with it. Sadly, that didn't deter him from following us around like the most obnoxious toilet paper stuck to his shoe. We did our shopping and headed to the car, with him still after us. I told my friend to get into the car and start the engine and lock it while I load the groceries. Her ex then decided to appeal to me to talk my friend into taking him back. I don't know what power held me back from committing a felony, but I'm pretty sure I've earned a PhD in self-control. I told him, in no uncertain terms, where he could put his reconciliation, and that if he kept following us, I would make sure that his legs were out of the equation. I got into the car and my friend began driving back, when we noticed a car following us. We knew it was following because the direction we were going was not usual. To rule out a possible neighbour, we actually did a full U-turn, almost back to the store, and stopped to get some fast food. We ate in the parking lot and then headed back home again. The same car was after us. Now, as much as I talk of violence, I have to admit, I was terrified. So was my friend. Neither of us has a gun permit. The best we carry is a can of pepper spray. And we know her ex has guns. So yeah, we were not comfortable at that point. Instead of going home, we headed past our neighbourhood and, following the usual advice from TV, drove to a police station. Once in it, we wrote a statement and I got a scolding about the confrontation in the Walmart parking lot. The reason we know it was her ex was because when we got home, she got a call from him on a new number saying, "I know where you live now." We immediately called the police. So that's where we stand. The cops just left a few minutes ago, and my brother's gonna stay over for a few weeks until we can get a restraining order and some sturdier locks. Also, I want to clarify a few things. A lot of people have asked why originally my friend took a whole year of being ghosted to accept that the relationship was over. While I get it, trust me, please understand that when my friend came to the US, she had no one. She's cut contact with a toxic family. She literally only had her ex. I moved into the US a year later and also came alone at first. But my parents were able to become citizens and I had them. When her relationship died out, she lost not just her boyfriend, but his family, who were pretty much as close to family as she could get. It's not easy and I personally can't imagine how lonely she felt. I could spend Christmas with my parents, but she had no one for that first year. So please don't judge her for it, cause she doesn't deserve it. It's not easy to be an immigrant when you have no place to return to. Man, this story was nuts! Can you imagine seeing an ex that you ghosted 3 years ago posting about buying a house on social media and just deciding that you're gonna move in with them? Oh my god, the delulu! Remember, I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.